Hello everyone. Last week we worked on our penny oxidation lab. This week we will do a pasta rocket.
of making
Join
bottle
me as we do
rockets
this
as a
little
child,
experiment
but
with
now we can
pasta.
take it one step further and make our very own fire-splitting rocket. The rocket is a hybrid because it combines two forms of an engine, a solid fuel and liquid fuel, by using liquid hydrogen peroxide as an oxidizer and pasta as a solid fuel. The materials used in this experiment was a mason jar, hydrogen peroxide, standard 3%, and yeast and pasta were used to make this rocket. The engine is constructed by drilling a medium-sized hole in the lid of a jar and removing the metal collar from around the top. Before filling it 2/3 full with hydrogen peroxide, a half tablespoon of yeast is added to hydrogen peroxide, and finally a tube of ziti pasta is placed over the hole and top of the jar and set light to the top of the end. The metal collar should be removed from the jar of the experiment otherwise the pressure could become too intense, causing a glass to explode. My experiment was successful and the pasta flamed up after I added the yeast to the hydrogen peroxide and lit the pasta with fire. The chemical equation for this reaction is 2H2O2 to 2H2O plus oxygen gas. The production of oxygen from the hydrogen peroxide is exothermic and does become quite warm, but it is a good source of oxygen for many experiments. In general, catalysts work by providing a place where reactants can come together to react. Cells in the yeast and other organisms contain catalysts called catalase. Through the normal cell process, living things can produce hydrogen peroxide in their cells, but hydrogen peroxide is a poison to the cell and need to break it down very quickly. Cells contain catalysts, which breaks down hydrogen peroxide at a very fast pace. And a single molecule of catalase can catalyze and break down millions of hydrogen peroxide molecules every second. The catalyst yeast is not part of the equation as it does not enter into the product, so it is not included in the equation. This experiment is a simple explanation of hybrid rocket propulsion, where the fuel is consumed as the pasta and oxidized by the oxygen in the hydrogen peroxide. The process involves mixing yeast with hydrogen peroxide and allowing the microbes to separate oxygen from the hydrogen, creating a gaseous fuel. I have shown in this experiment is simple and it can be done at home, and I hope you enjoyed this week's presentation.